Alright, what's poppin', everybody? Welcome in. This is BeaverNation.com back here with another video, guys, and welcome back to another live reaction video. Well, not live because this is getting pre-recorded, but today we're going to we're gonna go back. We're gonna have my first round of the NBA playoff reactions. If you guys were in the live stream yesterday, I told you that a video was gonna come out by me giving you guys a first round reaction to all of the NBA playoffs. So like I said, if you guys already, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Make sure to join the Discord. Great way to help out the channel. Really appreciate that as well. And then make sure you guys follow me on Twitch at MoneyLord 27, so you guys don't miss anything. By the way, before this gets posted, or I'm gonna try to get it, who knows, I'm gonna start. I think I can start the fantasy football. So if you guys want to start joining that, you guys want to welcome to. Just hit my link in the description. I'm gonna have it out after this video, and I'm gonna put it in for videos and videos to come. So yeah, I think I'm gonna get started with signups for fantasy football early. So make sure you guys go ahead and join that. That link will be in the description, of course. Alright, without further ado, should we just go ahead and dive into it? Alright, yep, let's go ahead and get it. So the first reaction that we have here is we have Cleveland sweeping Miami 4-0 here, and yeah, everything that I kind of expected to happen this series, I mean, just kind of happened. Now, I know that Jared Allen took a big injury in this game. I think Evan Mobley actually took a big injury in this game as well. So the Cavs do have to worry about that a little bit here in the first, going to the second round with Indiana. But like I said, did anybody really predict something different than this? I mean, come on, did the Cavs just beat the shit out of them? I mean, that's just specifically just what happened to the Miami Heat. And I know losing game 1 and 2, like if we look at games 1 and 2, okay, so Miami actually did a pretty good job at competing with game 2. I thought they came out with more energy. Game 1, it was close until the fourth quarter. I mean, that's when the quarter came out. But here's the thing. Miami, and this is kind of disappointing, and I said all year for the Miami Heat, I said that they are a much better team on the road than they are at home. Like, I think they have a better chance. This is exactly what I'm talking about right here. Look at this. Game 3 and Game 4. Look at the score. Look at the score. You got beat by a combined 102 points at home in your 2 playoff games. That is absolutely pathetic, Miami. I mean, but on top, I mean, Bam Adebayo had a good night, had a good series. I thought Tyler Hero was a little bit off. I think Tyler Hero could have done a little bit more in this series, but yeah, Cleveland, just to go into Miami and just beat the shit out of them for 2 games straight was pretty damn impressive. And I know it's the Miami Heat, and I know we've been saying about this all season long. The Miami Heat didn't really play well at home, but goddamn, man. I mean, if you just look at the stats more. Actually, I really should not even get to the stats, but overall, I thought Darius Garland. Oh, he was the person that got injured for the Cavs. So it's gonna be it's gonna be curious if he comes back in the next round. I will be paying a lot of attention about that. But Darius Garland was great. Donovan Mitchell was great. Evan Mobley was great. Jared Allen was great. The entire Cavs starting 5 was absolutely terrific. And Ty Jerome, he was fantastic as well. Meanwhile, from Miami, like I said, I kind of expected Tyler Hero to be more in the 20-point per game score, but he only finished 17.8. Bam, I thought Bam had a pretty impressive series. I'm not gonna lie, he did what he could. And then Davion Mitchell is probably going to be the Heat's like motivation player moving forward. So I'm not sure what the Heat are going to do here this offseason, but like I said earlier, they have a lot of questions. Not a lot of questions to answer, but I do think they have to approach the offseason about trying to get a better team than what they are right now. I still think they're a decent team, but they just got to get more. They got to get more guys. They got to get some more capable guys. But Cleveland, good luck in the next round versus Indiana. And if you guys know, since the Lakers are out, and we'll go ahead and get to that there in a moment. I will be rooting for you. You guys know that. All right, next up we have our second round series. We got Boston beating Orlando in 5 games. I think I actually got this one right about Boston winning this one in 5. Yeah, I knew the Celtics were going to slip a little bit in that game 3. You know, the Celtics, I don't know why, but it always feels like at some point in time the Celtics do slip at a time in the series, and I'm pretty sure we saw that in Game 3. But besides that, the Celtics were just in complete control of the series. Game 1 was a complete blowout, and didn't really need to say anything about that. Game 2 was actually very competitive throughout the whole game. I thought Orlando came out with a sense of urgency in that game, but it just barely fell short. Then they bounced back in Game 3. Both teams' defenses were great in this game. And then Game 4, obviously, Celtics, they set the tone. In Orlando, winning that one in Game 4, and ended up closing them in a blowout in Game 5. So, like I said, this is another just predictable series here. I think we all knew the Celtics were going to win this one. But the Magic's defense has actually been really good all season long. So I want to give Magic some credit on the defensive end here. I mean, holding the Celtics to only 103, 109, 93, 107. I mean, they did allow 120 points, but the Celtics shot red hot from the floor that night. But anyway, Jason Tatum was an absolute beast in this series, averaging 31 and a half, 11, and 5. Paul McCarroll did what he could, and he absolutely carried that team, 29-4, 8 and 4. But if you just look around and just look at the stats for this series, I don't really think anybody really did too much besides Paulo in that series. And we'll go ahead, but Jaylen Brown also had a pretty impressive series with 23 points average. This Celtics team is deep, man. Like, Peyton Pritchard was really good off the bench for this team. Like, this team is deep, okay? They're deep. They're really deep. You guys know what I'm about to say about the Celtics. Sure, you are advancing to the next round, but listen, if I have to root against you, I will, because you guys know I'm a Lakers fan. You guys know I hate the Celtics, so anytime I get a chance to see them lose will be the greatest thing to me ever. But anyway, Franz Wagner was pretty good. So basically for Orlando, only Paul McCarroll and Franz Wagner really showed up for this series. Besides that, really nobody else. And I was kind of disappointed about KCP. He only averaged 5 points this series. I thought he was going to average like 11, something like that. But anyway, like I said, unfortunately, Boston is going back to the Eastern Conference semifinals. They'll match up with the Knicks in the second round. So yeah, we'll see. That's gonna be a pretty entertaining series about that one. But like I said, I'm pretty sure we all kind of expected this series to go about 4 or 5, which I actually got that series exactly right. Alright, next up we got this series. I actually got this one predicted fully right. We got the Knicks beating the Pistons in 6 games. And I just want to say this off the bat. Detroit, you guys had a hell of a season. I don't care how this season unfolds for you. New York, for Detroit, you just got to look at it this way. This has been one of your best seasons in like 5 years. And I'm pretty sure you guys can all say that. So if I'm a Pistons fan, especially how you guys been over the course of the last couple of years, I'm really motivated going to next year. I really am. And this is a good stretch here for Detroit Pistons. I like the direction that they're headed to. I think they have a very bright future. And yeah, like I said, I love everything Detroit is doing right now. So we'll see. I think this team's gonna be dangerous. Like over the course of the next couple of years, I think this team's gonna be uprising. So, but anyway, Jalen Brunson was just a Detroit menace in this series. Jalen Brunson was absolutely fantastic. But anyway, the Knicks set the tone in Game 1, winning that one. That game was pretty close throughout. Pistons won Game 2 on the road. And they were getting smacked at first, and then Detroit came back and won the game. They kind of showed a grit there. And then Game 3, if I'm being honest, I think the officials, if you guys haven't saw Game 3, I think the officials really got to them. I think the Pistons had the last possession. I think they took a 3 with about just about the time expiring, and they didn't call a call, and then the officials went back at it after the game and really called that should have been a foul. So this probably set up the Pistons up for a losing series, but whatever. And then New York grabbed a 3-1 series lead, winning this one in defensive battle in Game 4. Came back, Knicks came back, Pistons came back, and with a really impressive road win, and then unfortunately their season ended again in just 3 points. So like I said, give credit to Detroit. I thought Detroit was phenomenal. Like I said, they have a bright future ahead of them, and if I'm a Pistons fan, I'm looking at this season as a success. For the Knicks, they will be playing against the Celtics in the first round, and you guys damn know this. I will be rooting for the Knicks. Come on, Knicks, you guys got this. By the way, you guys, By the way, you guys will see my or see our NFL pick show, my NBA pick show that'll be coming out tomorrow. So make sure to stay tuned for that. But like I said, Jalen Brunson was absolutely fantastic. Karl Anthony Towns was he stepped up when he needed to. He wasn't consistent, but he stepped up when he needed to. Same thing with OG and Mikal Bridges. Josh Hart's fantastic as well. And if, like I said, Cade Cunningham, first playoff series, 25 points per game, that's actually really good. Tobias Harris, I think he was a big impact for Detroit. I think he won Detroit a couple games. Malik Beasley was nice, especially in the early part of the series. I thought Dennis Schroeder played a big role, but Sam Hardaway Jr. was nice. So yeah, I really do like this Pistons team. I like the direction that they're headed. Unfortunately, their season had to come to an end, and I was rooting for them, but you know what? This is just experience, and the experience is going to get you better. So Detroit, this season was a full success for you. I don't even care you guys lost the series. It was fantastic. All right, next up we have the series pick that I was absolutely wrong here, and I probably should be embarrassed because of it. But Indiana ended up beating the Bucks in 5 games, and like I said, for the Bucks, it's just unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate that Damian Lillard had to get injured, and I probably would he get injured in Game 3 that he got injured in, and then he had to leave the game. And then I think it was Achilles that he injured, and he didn't get a chance to come back. But anyway, I was like this to this. I don't know what the future. Actually, no. I'll go ahead and get to that later. So, ended up the game 1, the Pacers smacked all over the Bucks in the face. Game 2, the Bucks actually performed a little bit better, but they still lost. Game 3, the Bucks knew that they had to win. Giannis literally said in his post-game interview, he knows the deal. Bucks fan know the deal, and I thought we saw that in Game 3. In Game 4, it was kind of like a repeat of Game 1, and then Game 5 was very unfortunate for the Bucks, which was a crazy sequence because the Bucks was actually up by like 6 or 7 points, and and I don't know what happened, but they just let that game go. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know how they lose like that, but they just, like I said, they lost. They lose like that. But anyway, let me give my props to Giannis, man. I thought Giannis was the MVP of the series. I thought Giannis was absolutely fantastic throughout this series. I think he posterized everybody in this game, and Giannis literally did everything that he could to will his team to victory. Like, he played well. I thought he was the best player on the floor in the series on the loose. Not as a series in general. Like, I think Giannis was the best player on the floor. And unfortunately, he just couldn't get the job done, man. But Giannis played a hell of a series, and when I was watching this series, I actually felt pretty bad for Giannis because how bad he was just carrying his team. But by the way, I do want to give some props to Gary Trent Jr. If you guys want to, if you're the Bucks, I'm gonna try to hang on to Gary Trent Jr. He was huge, especially in games like 3 and 5. He was absolutely terrific. And so if I'm the Bucks, I'm really looking at that going to the offseason. I thought Bobby Portis was a big impact in this series, but just wasn't enough. AJ Green, he stepped up when he needed to. He shot threes, and Kevin Porter Jr., it was a very underrated move for the Bucks, picking them up in free agency there. Actually, no, it's not free agency, on the trade deadline. For the Pacers, I mean, they were pretty consistent all around the board. I mean, if you just look at the players and look at their averages, they had 7 players averaging double figures in this series. But yeah, the Pacers, they're just a very consistent basketball team. They know what they're doing at all. The floor. For the Pacers, they don't really have like a true all-star. They have all players capable of putting up like numbers consistently, and that could be really good for a Pacers squad. Like I said, I think this is one of the best offensive teams in all of basketball, and watching their offense in this series was absolutely electric. Pascal Siakam was great. Tyrese was great. Miles Turner was a big defensive force, and I thought he played well. He shot the 3 ball pretty effectively. 37% for 3 as a big man. That's pretty damn good. Andrew Nembhard, I thought he played well. Aaron Smith, I thought he played pretty well off the bench. And I just, like I said, I love this Pacers team. I think they have depth. I think they could go a long way. Now, here's the thing. They have to play against the Cleveland Cavaliers next round, and let's see how that phases off. But, like I said, even though I do think Giannis was the MVP of the series, It's just unfortunate that the Bucks looked like they just didn't have enough depth to keep up with the Indiana Pacers. Like if you just watch that series in general, that's just what it looked like. So like I said, I don't know what the future for the Bucks is. I don't think it's bright because I don't think they really have a first round pick or anything or such as that. But like I said, they have to really figure out some stuff. So we'll see what the Bucks do this all season. But the Pacers are going up against the Cavs in round 2. That should be a pretty entertaining series. So good luck to you. Alright, and now we have to go to the Western Conference side of things, and this one would be short and simple. We have OKC sweeping the Grizzlies, as everybody would have advertised. Like I said, OKC is ridiculous. Well, I mean ridiculous. I mean, this team is really, really good. They proved while they were in the 1 seed once again for back-to-back seasons now. OKC, they have one of the best. They literally have one of the best benches in the league. They have one of the best defenses in the league. They have one of the best offenses in the league. Like that, the Thunder are here to win a championship, and I think watching this series and watching OKC's performance is really living to the hype for that. So just look at game 1. Game 1 was an absolute snot pounding. I mean, Grizzlies lost by 51 points. Now, like I said, I kind of roasted Miami for earlier for losing games 3 and 4, but those were at home. You can get blown out on the road because I would rather get blown out on the road, and I'm pretty sure everybody would say this too. I'd rather get blown out on the road than get blown out at home. So. But anyway, game one was a complete shit show. I mean, that was probably the biggest ass beating that I think I've seen a playoff game in a long time. Game 2, the Grizzlies played a little bit better, but OKC just proved that they're just too much for them. Game 3, and this is the difference. Grizzlies actually kicked the living shit out of Thunder for like 3 quarters. Like the Grizzlies were putting up a show in game 3, but unfortunately John Morant did get injured in this game, and that kind of held him back. And then ever since John Morant went out, and I believe it was like mid-third quarter when he went him out, and the Grizzlies had like a 30-something point lead. I don't think you could just tell that the Grizzlies just did not have enough firepower to keep up with the Oklahoma City team, and then Thunder did a great job of taking advantage of that. And then game 4, Grizzlies showed heart, they showed some passion. They did all they could to extend this series, and I thought the Grizzlies played their best basketball game, and they were actually pretty damn good defensively in this game too, but unfortunately they just couldn't get the job done, man. Like I said, Oklahoma City was just too much for them. But anyway, Shai, you could say that Shai is probably the MVP now. It's either him or Jokic. I mean, it's either one, but anyway, 27.8 points per game for him. Jalen Williams was fantastic. He was a good second option for the Thunder, and I'm pretty sure he's going to need to be that again playing against a team like Denver. And Chet Holmgren was pretty damn good too. He was consistent on that end. For the Grizzlies, like I said, unfortunately John Morant got injured, but nobody really. I think the Grizzlies are kind of like the Pacers. Like they don't really have like a true all-star. I mean, you could say John Morant's an all-star, but anyway, they don't really have like a true all-star, but a lot of their players are consistent. Anyway, John Morant, I love what Scottie Pippen Jr. did in this series. I do think he gets honorable mention there. Same thing with Jaren Jackson Jr. I think he's an all-star too, so Jaren Jackson's usually fine. Desmond Bane shot the ball pretty well in this series. I think he could have done a little bit more, but I think I like his aggression in this series. I think he did pretty well. And Santon Aldama, I like his potential with this team. I really do. I like him as a backup big. So yeah, we'll see what happens for the Grizzlies in the offseason. But like I said, if I'm the Grizzlies, I'm not really breaking up this offseason because remember the Grizzlies were the 2 seed in the Western Conference at one point throughout the years. So if I'm Memphis, I mean you could make some trades, but I'm not. But if I'm being honest, you don't want to really make a lot of trades. So we'll see what Memphis does this offseason. But OKC has a date with Denver in the second round. That should be a very entertaining second round. Like I said, if you guys can follow our pick show, we'll have that out for you. Alright, next series that we got here was the Warriors beating the Rockets in 7 games here. I actually got the 7 games right, but I had the Rockets winning the 7, but no, Golden State won the 7 this time. But, bravo, this series, by the way, first of all, bravo, this was an amazing series. So, first things first, we had game 1. The Warriors won this one. I kind of expected this series to be more on the defensive side of the ball because both of these two teams' defenses are really, really good. So, and I think we saw that throughout the majority of the series. So, like I said, game 1, 95-85, both teams really showed their defense there, but Golden State have a little bit better offense. Game 2, Houston played really well, and Houston played well and ended up taking the game at home before heading to Golden State. Game 3, Golden State just won in another nail biter, kind of like Game 2. Game 4 was actually very entertaining. It was. The Rockets were down big, I think, and they tried to come back and win. And like I said, I praised the Rockets. I'm going to praise the Rockets again. But they ended up coming up short there. But here's the thing I love about this Houston team. You guys know how you're down 3-1 and you will just quit right away. The Rockets said, "Fuck no, we're not quitting and we're fighting to the end." They like seriously, they were down 3-1. They went into Game 5 with a sense of urgency and they just beat the shit out of the Warriors. So that right there, you have to respect the Rockets for that. You have to respect the Rockets for even attempting to come back 3-1. And look, they almost did it. They almost pulled it off. Did they fall short? Yes. But I love this Rockets team. I love their sense of urgency. I love how they didn't quit throughout this series. And I thought that was pretty entertaining. Like games 5 and 6, I thought they kicked the shit out of the Warriors. And I was pretty damn entertained about this Houston Rockets team, how they performed in Game 5 and 6. And then Game 7, I think the Warriors' playoff experience was probably the difference in Game 7. Houston still being a young team, and I think Houston still is kind of like in the Detroit category. Like I know you're in part of your rebuild, but you're already like 3 years ahead of the rebuild. So there's really nothing that they really needed to do during this off season. But obviously, I love Şengün's game. I think he's going to be an all-star here coming up next year. I think he was absolutely fantastic. 20 points per game. Fran VanVleet, 18. I thought he was huge. He showed his playoff experience on this young Rockets team. Ahmad Thompson, I love how he played. I was pretty disappointed actually in Jalen Green. I know he averaged 13.5, but I was kind of expecting more from him. And then Dillon Brooks actually picked it up offensively. But besides that, I don't think really anyone really did too much of anything for the Rockets. Meanwhile, for the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry, 24 points. His series playing against a good defense, so it's actually pretty good. Jimmy Butler stepped in with 18 and 18.3 points a game. Brandon Bajetsky was timely. When he needed him. Buddy Hield had that huge Game 7. He averaged 10.5, almost 11 points a series. Draymond Green was absolutely a defensive monster in this series, and I'll give him a lot of credit for that. But like I said, this series just came down to experience, and I knew this one was going to be a tight series overall, but it's just unfortunate that the Warriors just have more playoff experience, and I'm going to get the day here with Minnesota Timberwolves here in the second round, so that's going to be a good series. I'm actually motivated to really watch this series. But watching this series, the Rockets versus the Warriors, those are probably one of the most entertaining series of the entire round one. And I'm pretty sure we're going to get into another entertaining first round matchup here, but let's go ahead and get there. But anyway, good luck Golden State moving forward, and for Houston, let's go to the off season and let's be better. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and skip the Lakers real quick because I have more things to say about them as a fan perspective. But anyway, like I said, speaking of the more entertaining series in the entire first round was probably this one. You got everything that you needed in this series. You got all the entertainment in the world in this series. But anyway, the Nuggets ended up pulling out, beating the Clippers here in 7 games. Like I said, this series was very entertaining. It went back and forth. As you can see here, Denver leads, series tied. Clippers lead, series tied. Denver leads, series tied. Denver wins. So, like I said, this series is absolutely fantastic. It went back and forth. Game 1 was absolutely phenomenal, and it just kind of set the tone how the series was going to go. Game 2, kind of the same deal, but the Clippers won in this time. Game 3, the Clippers just absolutely beat the shit out of the Nuggets, and I was not expecting a one blowout. Especially after watching games 1 and 2, I wasn't really expecting a blowout in any one of these series, but that's just what happened. Game 4, Denver ended up winning this one. And this game was so dramatic because Aaron Gordon got the game-winning dunk in this game, and I thought there was no way that he got it off in time, but he did. So that was dramatic fashion. Game 5, Denver ended up winning this game. Their offense was absolutely electric during that game. Game 6 with the Clippers, I mean, since Denver's was leading 3-2 in the series going back to LA, I kind of knew that the Clippers were going to win this one. And then Game 7, Denver just kicked the shit out. And I know it's only a 19-point lead, but I think Denver led by as much as 35 in Game 7, which is pretty disappointing because how the series was going, you would think that was going to be a pretty entertaining Game 7, but nah, it was not. Denver really just bullied their asses in that Game 7. But anyway, like I said, Jokic, he might be the MVP of the league, man. Jokic was absolutely phenomenal in this series. This man averaged 24, 10, 11, and 10. Like, he averaged a triple-double in this series. Jokic, man, Jokic is a fucking bully, man. He was absolutely fucking fantastic in this series. Jamal Murray was fantastic in this series as well, averaging 23 points per game in this series. And like I said, if Denver wants to go back in a championship run, which I know they're capable of, because Jamal Murray, this is still the Denver team who just won the NBA Finals 2 years ago, so I know they have that experience. But Aaron Gordon, I love this man. I love how he stepped up, 18, almost 19 points per game in the series. He's going to need to step up too, and if he continues to do this, Denver's going to be just fine. Russell Westbrook, I got to give him his flowers. He was fantastic as well, averaging 14 points a game in the series. Christian Brown did what he could. He played good enough, 13 points. Michael Porter Jr., maybe you want him to step up a little bit more, but still 11 points per game in the series. That's still not that bad. But I still think they do need Peyton Watson to step up a little bit, and I do think he's going to step up because he's the most reliable option on that Denver bench. So we'll see what happens going into round 2, but this Denver team, especially Game 7, like if you watch that Game 7, that looked like that championship pedigree of the Denver Nuggets, who just won it, like I said, just won the NBA Finals 2 years ago. Meanwhile, for the Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, I gotta give you a props, man. You were the man of the hour in this series, 25 points per game. And look, he was actually healthy. He was healthy in the playoff series. Did it lose? Yeah, but at least it was healthy throughout the whole fucking playoffs. And look at this. This man shot 41% from 3 in the series. Like, that is absolutely that's incredible. James Harden, he had some up and down moments, man. Like, he played well in some games, and in Game 7 he only scored like 6 points, something like that. So James Harden was a little inconsistent. I think Denver won the series because Jamal Murray was more consistent than James Harden, and that's why I really thought Denver won the series. Anyway, Zubac, I love his game, man. I thought he was a very force offensively, and I thought he caused some problems for Jokic. So at times, like I said, you can't stop Jokic because that's impossible, but you can limit him, and that's what Zubac did. So I want to give him his flowers there. Norman Powell was great throughout this series. He hit some timely threes when he needed him. And besides that, I don't really think anybody else stepped up for the Clippers. So I think Denver had more people step up for him, obviously. But like I said, this series is absolutely phenomenal. It's either this series or the Houston versus Golden State series, who won the best series of all in round 1. And like I said, Denver is going to match up against OKC, and that's going to be a tough test for Denver, but I think this team is capable of. Like I said, they still have their championship pedigree team, so yeah, we'll see. I think that one's gonna be a good series as well. But Clippers, enjoy Cancun. All right, and finally, yeah, of course I have to talk about this shit, do I? And then last but not least, we got the Timberwolves beating my Lakers in 5 games. First of all, actually, I'm just going to go ahead and get to the stats and everything, and then I'll share my opinions. But anyway, Game 1 was probably one of the most embarrassing games I think I've ever seen in a playoff game as a Lakers fan. Game 1 was just a complete shit show from the Lakers, and it looked like we didn't even show up for a playoff game. It just, Game 1 kind of felt like, I'll be honest, Game 1 kind of set the tone in the series. I'll be honest. That's just the reality of it, and I think that's the truth, and I think everybody can say that. Game 1 was just a complete shit show. Game 2, the Lakers did respond, but their offense was still a little slow. I mean, they only scored 94 points, but the defense really stepped up. Game 3 was kind of annoying because every single time the Lakers would make a run, the Timberwolves would make a run. Like, Timberwolves would just lead the whole game, and at every single time the Lakers would have a run, Minnesota would have a run, and the Lakers just couldn't come up with enough answers, so that's why they lost there. Game 4 was really close out throughout. I thought it was a battle, but at the end of the day, Minnesota was winning that game. And in game 5, oh my god, don't even actually no, I'm gonna show you guys the game recap. Listen, here's the disappointing thing about the Lakers, man. The Lakers, actually, I don't even know if I can do that, but the Minnesota Timberwolves shot 15% from 3. 15% from 3, and you couldn't even beat them. Like that's fucking sad, Lakers. Like, your offense should be able to do enough in this series. Alright, we'll go ahead and get to the stats, and then I'll share my audience opinions about this series. But anyway, let's go ahead and look at the stats here. Luka and LeBron were outstanding. Like, if you want to sit here and blame Luka and LeBron for this series, no, you just can't, because them two were absolutely phenomenal throughout this series. Luka averaging 30 points a game in this series, LeBron averaging 25. That right there is good enough for you to win the series. That right there. Now, if you want to look at Austin Reeves, sure, this is not a bad number, 16.5 points per game this series, but I don't think it was good enough, man. I think he needed to average like 20 or 21, which I do think he was capable of, and I think that's what he averaged during the regular season. But I don't think it was just good enough. I think Austin Reeves needed to be better. Like I said, Rui Hachimura, I thought Rui Hachimura was great in this series, averaging 15. I think that's he did what you could have asked for from him. And then Dorian Finney-Smith averaged 6 points this series, but his defense was fantastic in this series. So yeah, and I'm surprised one game that what was it, game 4? Yeah, it was game 4 that the Lakers played their starting 5. By the way, Jackson Hayes was non-existent throughout the whole series, but Luka, LeBron, Austin, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Rui Hachimura literally played the entire second half, which probably was one of the most shocking things I've ever seen. But anyway, back with my overall reaction here, that this was embarrassing. As a Lakers fan, I would say this is embarrassing. I did not ever think that we would go out in 5 by the Minnesota Timberwolves. And I say this all the time, that Minnesota is a bad matchup for anybody. That's just what they look like. They look like a bad matchup for anybody who's facing up against them. Because you know what? They have this man right here, Anthony Edwards, averaging 27 a series. I thought Anthony Edwards was the MVP of the series. He was absolutely fantastic. He kicked our ass every single game at some part of the department. Majority of it was the scoring department, but game 5 was like more of the playmaking department. Julius Randle just bullied our asses in the paint. I thought he played really well. He shot the 3 ball actually incredibly. He shot 39% from 3, which is something you're not going to see every day. Now, Julius Randle. Jaden McDaniels had a couple big games in this series, as well as Naz Reid. And Rudy Gobert, even only averaging 8, I thought he was fantastic on the board. And he was fantastic. He really took advantage of our size in the paint, which the Lakers don't really have size. But anyway, like I said, I'm pretty disappointed about this as a Lakers fan. I was not expecting this at all. Definitely one of the most embarrassing postseason runs I think I've seen since being a Lakers fan. And for next year, like I said, I'm gonna say this every single time: get a fucking big. Because I'm gonna make a rule for you. If you don't go into this offseason and not get a big, you're not allowed to return next season. That's why I would say on the Lakers, you're not allowed to return to the basketball floor until you get a big. So, like I said, the Lakers, pretty disappointing series. Home court advantage lost in 5, but I'm gonna miss Laker basketball. But don't worry, I'll still be live for the game. So make sure you guys tune that out. And yeah, pretty disappointing series for the Lakers. Alright guys, and that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Like I said, if you guys haven't already, make sure to like the subscribe button, make sure to join the Discord. Make sure you guys check out our pick show tomorrow. We'll have that for the second round out for you guys tomorrow. So I appreciate that. But anyway, guys, how about I'll get this thing out of this. You guys watching No Time. This is VideoNation.com. Peace out. Stay safe. See you guys in round 2. Peace out.